Hey, how's it going everybody? My name is Kyle, better known as Tallest, and today I'm making this video to help you make your camera go from looking something like this to something a little bit more like this. I do have about 5 years of experience working with video cameras and webcams and stuff like that because I primarily provide entertainment and videos on a website called twitch.tv, where I put out gaming videos as well as other live streamed content to live audiences where we can interact and have fun. So if you guys are interested, feel free to check me out. My link will be in the description. Now, more than likely, you are stuck at home and probably having to either do your meetings for work online or do your school days online. And probably 100 different things right now, but most of us are stuck at home video conferencing all the time. And maybe you just want your camera to look a little bit better because it looks terrible. Or maybe there's just that one person, that one girl in your class who just has really, really great video quality, better than what I'm doing right now. And hopefully it's because she's also a Twitch streamer. But you still want to get that really, really good quality, and I want to help you do that. And I want to help you do that as cheaply as possible. I would like for you to get the highest possible quality versus the lowest amount of quantity of money that you need to spend, because I'm insanely cheap and I'm not getting paid hardly anything right now because I'm stuck at home. I'm struggling, as we all are. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, your most important thing with getting your camera to look better without buying a new one is lighting. It's lighting, and then followed by lighting, your camera settings. And things have gotten a lot simpler over the last few years than what they used to be. So let me show you. We're actually going to switch over to a different camera. We're going to go from using my lovely Sony a5100 DSLR video camera to using this Logitech C170 webcam, which is a few years old, and some of you are probably using. It's not a bad camera, I guess in comparison to my professional grade video camera it is, but it gets the job done, and I'm going to show you how we can get it to look a lot better. So let me go ahead and switch on over to that. Now, more than likely, this is probably similar to what your webcam looks like right now. Either this or it's super bright and washed up, but we will solve both of those problems in just a second here. Now, the reason why your camera looks like this is, again, because of your lighting. More than likely, all that you have is just your ceiling light on. And my ceiling light and fan are on, which is great because it's super hot. But that light is behind me. The subject of the video, yourself, myself, is not well lit. Only everything behind me is. So if I was to come back here, it looks okay. But as I get closer, you see how dark that is? We can fix that very easily. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go out and go buy expensive lights. Don't do that. I haven't done that, and you saw how my video quality looks on my nice camera. You can go grab some lamps from the other room, take the flashlight from your phone, anything, any source of light, and get it so the light source is directed on you. Let me show you the difference that'll make immediately. Let me turn on my main light. This is just with one light difference, and this is how my video looks now, right? So here, let me change this over to a different scene. And this is how my video looks now. You also notice it looks a lot nicer when it's smaller, and since you're going to be more than likely in Zoom meetings with like 30 to 50 people, your camera is 9 times out of 10 very tiny. So it'll make that look a lot better too. So don't worry too much about looking stretched out or something weird like that. This is with one light on. Generally with lighting, you'd like to have 2 or 3 lights. One main key light, which is your main light, which is behind your camera, and then another one which comes in from the side called a fill light, which I'll turn on now. And then your third light could be a back one. Now, you might be wondering, why would I want the backlight on if it's not lighting me up? It's lighting up your background, which is important. Believe it or not, it will look better if your background is lit up, which is why I have those colorful lights back there, although this webcam doesn't particularly like those for reasons that we won't get into, but it has to do with the flicker rate of those lights and how quickly they're refreshing and how fast the shutter speed is on the camera. You don't want to hear it. It's boring. Just don't worry about it. You don't need those, right? But look at what this looks like with the overhead light off. Now I'm starting to blend into my background a bit. It probably doesn't help that I have a green shirt on, but maybe today during your Zoom meeting you're wearing a green shirt and that happens to blend in with your background. So lighting your background is equally important for making you stand out from it. So my suggestion to you is to go grab a couple of little lamps or a phone camera or something like that and have that light get directed on you. Now, when you're doing that initially, you may look too bright, a little washed out. You could look greasy. There's all sorts of issues. These are because you may need to diffuse the light. Diffusing light sounds a lot more complicated than it is. You want to know what you do to diffuse light? You take some paper and put it in front of the light, or a piece of plastic, something that will let the light through, but it's going through something so it's not as harsh, if that makes sense, right? So I'll show you a little B-roll footage of my main light here. This is built out of a cereal box, a couple of little wall hangers to keep it from falling off the wall, and a set of strip lights I bought off of Amazon. It cost me $16, $18 if you count the box of cereal, but I don't because I already had it and it was good. It was Rice Krispies and I like that, so fight me, I guess. Super simple, right? And I actually have a video tutorial that I followed to make this, and I will have that linked up here in the corner over there. Up there, you'll see something. I'll also have it down in the description. Great video, super informative, and you can throw the thing together in an hour. It is great. But you don't really need to do that. You can use basically any source of light. So long as you, the subject, are lit and your background is lit up, you will be good. Also, this is so important. Please close your windows and put the blinds over them. You see, all right, you see how bright it is right here, right now anyway? That's with a set of blinds and a curtain in front of that thing. If it's open, it's just gonna get washed out. It's gonna look like this. Hang up a blanket, put up a curtain, do something. Don't let the light in through the windows. It's too bright. Maybe your computer is in front of some windows and you have natural light coming in. That is something that you can work with and take full advantage of. Unless your meetings are at nighttime, then you're kind of hosed and you're going to need to get lights set up anyways. But lights are super important. Next, we're going to move on to camera settings. Camera settings have gotten a lot easier over the years. There used to be about 40 different sliders, and now there's only like 4. This is the Logitech WebCam settings application, and this application is very, very dumbed down and simplified, which is great because they used to be terrible to work with. Now, when you first open it up, you're going to have your home screen here. Now, oh, really quickly, if you're not using a Logitech camera, you're using a different one, don't worry. Just look up the website of the brand of camera that you're using, and they should have their own software that'll allow you to mess with the settings, get that set up, and then come back to the video here because this applies to all cameras. They're all the same. So with this particular camera that I'm using, you don't have to worry between the image being standard or widescreen, as well as your anti-flicker. This isn't that huge of a deal if you're just using a generally cheap webcam just to do video conferencing. I personally use the NTSC 60Hz anti-flicker. You could use the PAL 50Hz anti-flicker. Basically, whichever one looks better. It's going to vary from person to person, so I can't give you an exact answer. But I can tell you it makes a very minimal difference, so don't worry about that. What we are going to worry about is the advanced tab here, which is so advanced that it has 4 whole different sliders. Wow, 4. I know. We're getting into really complicated territory here, people. All right? You have your brightness slider. I think that you can guess what that is. That artificially changes the brightness of your picture. So if you slide it all the way up, you look super washed out. You slide it all the way down, and it looks really dark and not good. So you'll want to try to find your best spot for having your brightness. Now, ideally, you want to have it on the lower end of the spectrum on the slider, because the brighter that you make it, the more issues you start to get with ghosting and your frames, and everything starts to look more washed out. The more actual brightness you're getting from lighting is going to be better than artificial fake brightness that you're bringing in through your applications. Next is going to be your contrast. That's the contrast between your grays and your colors and your blacks and your whites. So this is what it looks like when your contrast is all the way down. This is what it looks like when it's all the way up. Again, same thing. You want to try to keep it on the lower end of the spectrum, because this is going to affect your colors, and it's also going to make you look kind of gray and dulled out. So if you start to get it too high, it's going to start looking like a really old horror flick almost, which I don't imagine is the look you're going for. So for me, the sweet spot seems to be about 40. And then next to that, you're going to have your color intensity, which changes the intensity of your color. Very complicated, I know. You bring it up all the way, and you look super oversaturated and the wrong skin tone, more than likely, and all the way down, and now you are black and white, like an old-timey film. And maybe that's what you're going for, and that's cool. And if you don't get in trouble for that in your meetings, good for you, because I'd be surprised. But maybe try it and tell me how it goes in the comments, because that could be very entertaining for me, possibly. You'll want to get your color intensity just right so that you can see your skin tone properly without being too oversaturated and getting all of this, like, see all these flashing, like, green, pink, all that. It's overloading the camera. You do not want that. You want to get rid of that as much as possible. You're always going to have it a little bit regardless, because these cameras are just kind of old and trashy. But you'll want to get it so that you have the proper skin tone and everything else. Again, we're going to try to resize that so it looks proper. Probably more over here. Last one is your auto white balance. Now, I know it's easy to just click auto and leave it on, and then there you go. Oh, the picture looks so much better. It's great. I love it. Don't do it. It's going to give you a ton of issues with movement. It's going to mess up everything. Your color intensity is going to change all the time. It automatically changes all your settings. Stuff looks weird. Maybe you like it on. Do it then. But if you're going to have something that is going to constantly be the same and not be changing very much, you are going to want to turn the auto switch off and set it yourself. The lower the number is, the more cool colors come in, blues and whites and stuff like that. The higher the color, the more reds and yellows that it lets in, because those are warmer. For me, it seems like getting close to the right skin tone is going to be about here, close to the 6,000 range. I can't really get too much closer to my skin tone than that, or else stuff starts to get washed out, but this is pretty darn close. And that's it. That's your solution to your lighting. I'm gonna switch on over to my nice camera again. So hopefully now you can see that you don't need to spend a bunch of money to make your camera look better. It's as simple as just getting some lighting solutions and getting your camera settings set, and you can improve the quality drastically without having to go and spend a ton of money on cameras, because there are so many price gougers right now because everybody needs a camera. So I hope that this video helped you out. If it did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm struggling with work and hoping that maybe I can pick up a little bit of side money on here. I do try to upload once or twice a week, and thank you all so much for watching. I hope this helped you, and as always, have a good one.